Friends, welcome back to Iron Sharpens Iron. Today we're gonna talk about something that I think is extremely relevant. Solo and I were talking about this, and there's a lot of people hurting out in the world right now. There's been massive layoffs at a bunch of different companies, and so we want to be able to speak to specifically to those people. And to any of you that are hiring at your companies, reach out, post on LinkedIn, do the things, and let's help these people out. But specifically, want to start with a quote. It says, jobs change, circumstances shift, people come and go, but your worth remains constant because it was never dependent on any one of those other things. Your worth isn't a wage, a title, or a compliment. It's the unchanging value you carry simply by being human.
I love that. Who said that?
I don't know. I said
Well,
it.
there a
We're
why?
going to
Yeah,
go with
you
Jacob
said that.
Anderson.
I love it. I love that. You said that. And there
I
wasn't an
said that.
M dash in there. You said it.
No, there wasn't an anonymous or anything else. That was just
That's
some words I
huge.
came across, and so I'll steal them. But friends, this is exactly where we want to start today. For our friends, fellow colleagues that Solo and I have had for the years, and including you, Solo, because I know you were impacted last week. You know, for those of you who are at ExxonMobil, because I have a friend that's let me know that there's a bunch of things happening there. I've heard just this morning that Verizon is going through massive reductions. It's been all over the place. This is a hard
It
message for me to talk
sucks.
about because I have been impacted in previous years, before Solo and I became, colleagues. And friend, self-worth is not tied to your career.
Feels like it sometimes, though.
It feels like it for sure. We spend so much of our lives at work. And for those who are actively in careers right now or who are looking for it because you are a responsible provider either for yourself and the dependents that are in your household, your sense of value can sometimes be in your mind become tied to your ability to bring in revenue and income to your household. But who we are at our core is not dependent on a corporation or a
Right.
business. It is not
Right.
dependent on the people truly around us. Now we influence them and they influence us, but the value you bring, my friends, as a human being, from my faith as a child of God, is not contingent on anything else other than you being you. So I know you're hurting. I know there's millions of people out there that are just hurting right now. There's people who have been impacted by the government shutdown who feel like they see their kids are hungry. And because of the turmoil in Washington, because of maybe job circumstances right now, there are people who are just hurting and who may not know where the light at the end of the tunnel is going to come from. And so our message for you today starts simply with recognizing you are amazing for who you are as a person. And in no way should you allow the thoughts that can enter into your mind about your self-worth, do not let those be negatively impacted by the circumstances that you are presently facing, because this too shall pass.
But don't feel crazy when they do. So, for the audience, I got fired last week, laid off. Our company decided that I was not worth keeping around for one reason or the other, and I'm sure that they had a good business decision. And Lord, help speak through me so I can articulate my thoughts and help those who may be feeling the way I feel. So I'm pissed. I vacillate, to be perfectly honest, from angry and upset, feeling lied to, feeling abused, feeling unworthy, feeling scared and sad, to feeling grace. And I think that in the hard times like these, it is a lot easier to hear the shepherd's voice. Did I ever tell you the sheep story, the shepherd story?
Yeah. Yeah, I think you've shared that.
For those of you who haven't heard, you've seen the picture of Jesus with the sheep or the lamb over his shoulder, and that's a representation of him leaving the 99 to go find the one lamb that wandered off. But they don't tell you shepherds back in the day used to break those lambs' ankles so they wouldn't wander off again, and that's why they had to carry him on the neck. But in that time when the lamb's legs are broken and he or she's being carried around the neck, the lamb gets very good at hearing the shepherd's voice. And when they're finally healed, they're so used to the shepherd's voice that they stay very close to the shepherd. And I've found that to be true. Like, I feel like my legs are broken and I'm reaching out to God more. I'm praying more. Sometimes for Thanksgiving of all the things that I do have, because I have everything. Like, I really do have everything that I need. I think about if I were to lose Jasmine or my boys, what I would give to get them back. And it would literally be everything. I would give everything I had. So that's just proof in itself that I have everything now. But it's scary because I can't see down the road. So I vacillate between angry, upset, scared, and then having faith and appreciative and grateful and forgiving. And it's a weird feeling, bro. Like, it's a really weird, weird feeling being in this place of anger and thanksgiving. Because even though I'm angry, I'm sleeping better than I ever have. I have these, like, these watches, these wearables that we have. They like can tell my stress because I have the Garmin. And man, I've never gotten better sleep because like the weight of the job is gone. Like the BS that you have to deal with is gone. Like it's a weight lifted, replaced with anxiety of the future because, there's only so much savings, so much income that you have until you have to pay the bills. And to your point, it's really affected my sense of self-worth. And this isn't the first time it's ever happened. I got laid off at Wells. I know you've been laid off before too. I got laid off at Wells, similar situation. Wasn't anything that I did. That's what they always say, right? Doesn't feel like that, but it
Yeah,
wasn't
it doesn't
anything
feel
that
like
you
that at
did.
all.
Yeah. Oh, it wasn't anything that you did. You're valuable. Don't let it affect your self-worth. It's like, well, why am I the one to go then? Why is Timmy still sitting there? Oh,
Yeah.
well, Timmy isn't any better than you. Timmy just is more valuable to us than you are. So how does that, whatever.
We're doing the same thing, so
Yeah.
you made a choice
So
somehow.
yeah, so for all intents and purposes, when I got laid off at Wells, I was living the dream. I got 8 months of severance. 8 months. And I was paid good at Wells. And for all intents and purposes, I was rich and unemployed. Like what everyone wants to be. Sitting around, I had all the time in the world. I had freedom. I woke up every day, it was a hit. I had money. It wasn't that I was like freaking out like I am now, because we'll just say that our last company definitely didn't give 8 months severance. Thanks for that. But I found myself after the days and the weeks and the whatever feeling terrible about myself because I had the sense of purpose, the sense of identity that was tied to my occupation. Who am I if I'm not a leader? Who am I if I'm not contributing to something greater than myself? Who am I if I'm not helping folks with their problems and carry their burden? And I got so depressed, so depressed. I stopped like showering every day, shaving. I was just sitting on the couch watching TV, just feeling like crap. And I didn't do it this time. And I learned a lot from that time versus this time. And I'd love to share some of that with the folks that are like me, maybe going through this the first time, so they don't get in this pit of desperation, this pit of despair like I was. And I know that I could easily slip back into right now just because of how I feel. The anger, the resentment, the fear, the anxiety, the depression, the loss of identity for something that's supposedly not anything of my own doing. So I'd love to talk about it.
Yeah, let's do. And one thing before we kind of talk strategy for these folks, because to your point, I was there before and I got into really, really bad emotional place. Like I was clinically depressed.
Yeah.
Mine happened during COVID. I don't know as COVID is any worse than the market right now because the market during COVID was horrendous. And
Yeah.
I would go and apply for jobs, and it would literally say that there were 10,000 other people applying for the
That's
same job.
wild, bro. That's wild.
And that wasn't every one of them, but every single time there was at least 1,000 people. And it would be the same day that it posted. And I would see it, and there would already be 1,000 other people. I'm like, okay, well, how's my resume going to stand out amongst 1,000 others? Because we know they're not screening 1,000 resumes. There's not a person manually screening them, I
There's
should
not a
say.
person that could do that if they tried.
No, absolutely not. Much less 10,000 for some of these positions.
Yeah.
But the market is largely the same right now. And because there's only so many jobs available. Because, friends, we all get it. You're seeing this right now. I'm not going to say anything that's shocking, but for those who are not going through it right now, so you get a sense of what these people are going through. The market is changing because call center type jobs, in particular, customer service type jobs, they're all being replaced with AI as we speak. Like,
That's just one of
literally,
the
while we're recording this, there are companies that are going through this process. And so the people are being, whether it's through layoff or quitting of their own volition, doesn't matter. As positions are being vacated at companies, they're not being replaced in the same
people.
proportion.
Right.
And
When I
so
go
it
to
is really hard.
conferences, like I go to conferences a lot. I would like to think that I'm part of the conference underground and sales conferences, CX conferences, learning conferences, and all you hear from these vendors is how they could cut your overhead by cutting jobs and replacing it with AI. And some of these AIs are incredible. So it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. And then you have robotics. Then you have like self-driving cars. You have all these other things that are coming out. It's only going to get worse. So I do think that this is a very relevant and important thing to talk about, especially now. The economy's rough. Tariffs are
Mm,
crazy. Inflation's at an all-time high. And in October, it was like a record-breaking job loss, unemployment that was the highest in the last 20 years. So there's more folks right now than in COVID than any time in October. Highest in 20 years. It's crazy.
yeah.
So
So and
let's
and
talk about it. Let's
not to
talk.
make not to and we don't say that to make everybody like feel desperate or lose hope. The reality is that it changed. It's things are changing, and what do you do about it?
What do you
So
do?
what do you do? And so the first thing I will say, if you're able to, like, if your layoff came with some sort of severance, or you still have some income, don't just start the next day by getting on LinkedIn and Indeed and ZipRecruiter and all
100%.
these things and start applying for every job you see. Like, take some time,
Yes.
whether it's a few days, whether it's a week, whatever you can truly do, and do everything in your power to stop worrying about the next job and take time to just enjoy being you, being with your loved ones, your household, whatever that situation looks like. Relax.
Just
Like,
yeah. Give
go
yourself
see go, yeah, give yourself some space, go run, go camping, go to the beach, go do something to just enjoy the freedom of not having to report to the office and
yeah.
deal with that stress for a minute, because that's
Yeah.
going to come back.
Yeah.
It will come back.
Yeah. You
But
have
being
to
able
grieve.
to, you have to grieve. And that's a great comment, because, so you were talking about the anger and the sadness and the anxiety and just the basket of emotions, and truly them being on a roller coaster. Yeah, that's exactly how I was too. I would go from like extreme optimism to extreme depression within moments.
Yeah.
And it's just like loss. It's like loss of a loved one, because that job, for better or worse, sometimes worse, is just a part of your life. I mean, it's like a family member that's always there. So suddenly losing that causes a lot of emotions. Take some time and just try to decompress, try to get your head right. And as you're going through that process, it'll allow you to more clearly think through, well, what is it I want to go do? Because what you were doing does not have to be the same thing you're going to go find. You can take the opportunity to reinvent yourself and
So
try and focus on what is it you want out of the
to do.
next career
Yep.
move.
So I'm sitting in this right now. So I'd like to speak
Hmm.
to my fellow compatriots that are feeling these feelings. And to your point, I say grief for a reason. You have to grieve. You have however many years of your identity tied to something that you lost. It's like dating somebody for 7 years in my case. I had a whole future planned in my mind that now is impossible. It just disappeared. They say that when you get dumped or you break up in a long term relationship, the hardest part isn't necessarily losing the person, but it's losing the image and the mind and the future that you envisioned. And you spent all this time envisioning, and it just goes up in smoke. So you have to grieve. You can't jump right in there right after you break up with your 7 year long relationship and try to find your next relationship. You're going to come in a bad headspace, emotionally compromised.
Hmm.
The stages of grief that you're probably feeling right now are the same stages of grief for losing a relationship, losing a loved one, which starts with denial, right? They'll call me back. This can't be real. They'll hit me up. And Jake, you were even able to probably help somebody, maybe reinforce that denial the next time they have a grief, but you were able to get someone back because it was crazy that they lost this person. It's like, what do you mean we lost this person? Who didn't do their math? And you were able to get them back. And everyone hopes to be that 1 in a million, right? They made a mistake. I shouldn't have been on the list. They'll call me back. And they're in denial. When they figure out that they're not in denial, they are on the list, they get angry. I can't believe it. Their emotions surface. You're pissed. You're upset. You envision people that and this is a rough place to be, but it's a natural place to be. You have to be upset. It's part of the grieving process to be angry. And it's okay to be angry. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to be mad. But it's not okay to stay there.
Yeah, don't live there.
It's not okay to stay there. Then comes bargaining, right? We start trying to get some modicum of control back. So, well, what if I would have moved differently in this thing? And if only if I would have done that in this thing. And maybe if, and God, maybe if I were to do this, I'll stop doing this. We got to get a job. And you start bargaining all sorts of ways. And your imagination going back in the past, if I could have, in the future with the Lord, or whatever deity you probably pray to, if you would only, I promise I will. And you're just in this like negotiation stage where you're just negotiating your mind, replaying events and imagining things that aren't ever going to happen. Total waste of time, but totally natural. It happens. Then what I think is the hardest part and the place that people get most stuck in with grieving is depression. You're just sad. You're emotionally heavy. You feel empty. You have the sense of being, you know, overwhelmed and broken. And the gravity of the change and the gravity of your loss hits you, and it feels like it can crush you. And it's natural. And you'll get through it. And finally, you get to a place of acceptance. Now, acceptance is not happiness. A lot of the times, you might have this fake veneer of happiness and gratitude, but it's not. It's just the acknowledgement that whatever happened, happened. And it's a gradual shift from moving from where you've been, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, feeling bad, to rebuilding, adjusting the path forward. And that's a beautiful thing, because only from that place of acceptance should you then start to rebuild. You can't rebuild when you're in anger. You shouldn't rebuild when you're in denial. It's dangerous to rebuild when you're bargaining or you're depressed. You have to get through it, whatever way you get through it. Loved ones, which is typically what it is, right? Connection, people telling you, like you telling me, Solo, you are somebody. This has nothing to do with your self-worth. You're somebody special. And just letting and being there while I'm going through these stages. But you should only get into the job search once you've hit that acceptance, because if not, you do all of these things that I'm seeing people doing. For example, these desperation posts on LinkedIn. You could tell somebody's either angry or in denial, and they're misusing social media, and they're virtue signaling, and they're sending all this needy desperation. Let me just tell you my innermost dark, deep thoughts, but let me put a veneer of I'm positive and I'm great. And they can't even do it right. So they use AI to help them speak articulately. and it's just riddled with M dashes, and obviously it's not them, and it just comes off to everyone reading it, except the people that are in denial or anger or bargaining or depression. It's not coming off great to a hiring manager. Elon Musk isn't sitting back on LinkedIn waiting for the most virtue signaling, I've been here for this long, but I appreciate all of the. No, it doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? It just seems desperate, and
Yeah.
it does not give you the sense of strength that you're going to need if you're really truly going to get out there and, to your point, not find something to replace something bad with something bad, but replace it with something better. What do I truly and really want to do? So my first piece of advice is space, to your point. Go through the grieving process. It's important. And get to a place of acceptance so then you can move forward. And in that time, try as much as you can not to misuse social media to try and get some type of sympathy or virtue signaling type of response from the masses, because it doesn't put you in a position of power. It doesn't give you this, I would say, perception of they have it together. It gives you this perception of desperation, and people could sense the inauthenticity in your, it was great,
Right.
I loved every moment of it. I just want to thank this person and that person. It's like, oh man, they're going through it and they're just BSing. And you should just keep that to yourself while you go through the grieving process. It's a
Yeah.
personal process. Keep it personal. Don't blast it to the world.
Don't blast it to the world, and that's very good advice because yeah, all the emotions, the blessing and curse of social media is yeah, it gives you an outlet, but that outlet's there forever. Recruiters and when you do start going through an interview process in the future, people look,
People
and if you
look.
got whether it's the super angry stuff or just the fake stuff, people will see it. So
People see it. And and
so
and to that point, good hiring managers, like Jake, you, for example, you're a good hiring manager. You're going to hire somebody because they're the best fit for the job and they're the most likely to succeed. You're not going to hire somebody because you feel sorry for them going through a tough
right,
situation that they're going through. If you did that, you'd be a poor hiring manager. And poor hiring managers put you through the same cycle of this type of stuff over and over and over again. So someone giving you a job that's a stranger based upon your desperation and plea because I just got let go is a bad situation waiting to happen. Now, on the flip
facts.
side, I think that you should absolutely leverage your network. The people that you know that care about you, that understand your competencies, that understand how great you are. You should absolutely let them know privately and personally that you're looking for a new position, and you'd be excited if they could help you in that search, because those people that have relation with you could absolutely help, and they absolutely will. But strangers hitting you up, oh, I heard you lost a job, try this one. That's a
No,
bad hiring manager. You might want to stay away from that job.
it's the email that you get saying, "Oh, you can make $500 a day just sitting at home
Exactly.
and recycling boxes." And yeah, probably not.
Exactly.
But two, and I've gotten so many of those in my life. But the two, right? Take time for space, and once you get into a better headspace because you've taken some time to just go through the grief process. Again, that may be 2 days, that may be 2 weeks, whatever your circumstances allow, and however long it takes you to truly do that correctly, then you can actually start thinking through what is it I'm really after? Because so many of us, we get into these jobs and careers, it's not what we wanted to do, right? When you're in kindergarten and you're thinking through what do I want to do when I grow up, or when you're graduating high school and what do I want to be when I grow up, most of us don't even truly leverage the degree we may have gotten in college, and we're not where we want to be. So, what is the job that aligns with your values, your talents? What are the things that fill you up? This is a time that if you're going to reinvent yourself, take the advantage and reinvent yourself. But
100%.
I'm in compliance right now. Not anything I thought I would ever be doing.
It's not your passion.
Previous to this, then I was in just field operations and I was in technology. And before that, I'd done a whole bunch of, construction related things, and I've been in retail. Like I've done lots of different things in my career. The thing I'm most passionate about is things like this, where I can be in personal development and leadership
Make an
growth
impact.
and all of those things and making a true impact. So think through that. And as you go through that process of thinking through, okay, well, what are the skills that I currently have? How do those translate into what I want to be doing? And are there any gaps? Because the blessing of technology nowadays is you can close the skill gap very quickly and without a whole ton of money. You don't have to go get a college degree to close you know, a technology gap of learning a new system. You can get on YouTube, you can get on Udemy, you can get on, GPTs and TikToks and things and learn skills that will translate into the type of job you are looking for.
I would say you're 1,000% right now. I'll go back to the one another don't before I go to the do's of doing exactly what you said. Don't apply blast to just find anything. That's like a surefire way to know that you're still in the grieving process. Either you're angry or you're depressed or you're bargaining, but you haven't got to the acceptance place yet. Like, you know what? It is what it is. I need to shift. I need to move forward. I need to build. Because once you know that you need to build, you're asking yourself, what should I build? And blasting 1,000 applications in a day is not what should I build. That's a desperation of what can I find? And it's two
Yeah.
very different results that you're going to get from that. And I would say a lot of people ask themselves, what's my passion? And I think that passion is important. Typically, when it comes to one's occupation and making money, it's less important about what you're passionate about and more important of what you're good at. Like, what am I really good at? Like, what do the people around me say that I'm great at? What is like water to me? And I'm a fish. It's like, man, you're a really good swimmer. You're like, what do you mean, swimmer? You just swim so beautifully. Well, what do you mean, swim? I'm a fish. It's just what I do. I don't know how I do it. I just do it. I've been doing it my whole life and I'm excellent at it. And it's very difficult to find your water if you're a fish because you're just used to doing it. But
Yeah.
other people could point it out. So ask mom, ask dad, ask best friend, ask everyone, like, what am I really good at? And they'll tell you, and you'll find commonalities. I know I'm a good communicator. I know I'm good at leading people. I know I'm good at motivating. I know that I can make somebody feel like they could run through a wall. That's what I'm good at. Now, luckily, I'm passionate about it too. But I wasn't passionate about it at first. I just did it. Didn't even know I was doing it. So I didn't even know I could be passionate about it. But from that competence and that identifying how competent I am in it, I developed it and I got even better at it. And from that competent, developed place, I found a passion for it. And when passion and competence align, that's when the magic really happens in a day-to-day occupation. So I would
For
ask
sure.
myself, what am I good at? And ask the ones around me, what am I good at too, to find it, because it's a lot of times really difficult to identify. Then once you find what you're good at, go out and look for jobs that are looking for those competencies and leverage your network when you find them. But
One
I'll let you
thing,
go into your network because you were going to talk about it first.
no, you gave me a thought. As because that's phenomenal advice, right? What are the things you're good at? As you're going through that, friends, do not compare yourself to others who you
Mm-mm.
think are great at that and say, oh, well, they're just so much better. Like, I'm actually not good at that. I'm going to give
Yeah,
you
that's a good
a
point.
great example. Like, I think this is probably the best example for those of you who have ever listened to our show. Solo and I have lots of the same aptitudes and same passions, and that's why this is really fun for us. As you have noticed, we are two very different personalities. We're both very passionate about leadership. We're both very passionate about building others. We both motivate our teams. We're both phenomenally successful in our jobs and careers at the things that we do.
Would say Jake may be a little better though, because he didn't get laid off a couple weeks ago. It's decent. Look, you going, it's a little better, you know?
I'm a little better at pulling the wool over people's eyes. Maybe that's it. But we we're very different at the way we do it. The way Solo motivates is very different than the way I do. Our people on our teams love us as leaders for different reasons. And the people who don't like
Great
us
point.
as leaders, because there are those, you know, they may just not resonate with our current style, and that's okay because our
Not everyone has good
skills,
taste.
same skills, different approaches.
Yeah,
Solo's
100%.
hopped up on energy drinks all the time. He's just bouncing off
Bouncing
the
off the
walls, and
wall.
that, and I love him for it. I'm more calm in the way I go about it. It's not right or wrong. It's just different. And the things, and this kind of goes back to our point at the very beginning of this episode, what makes you spectacular as an individual is what makes you marketable and
Yes.
valuable to
Yes.
your next opportunity, your employer, whether you're going into corporate America or whether you start your own business and what's going to be valuable to your customer. It's the things that make you you. You don't have to be the same as anybody else.
Yes.
What makes you you is what makes you unique and amazing, and leverage
Yes.
that and lean into
Yes.
it.
Yes. And don't be scared to get some help with this. So we talked about how you should not use AI haphazardly. I feel like people use AI for the wrong reasons. Like, look, I've known you for 5 years. You didn't all of a sudden become a freaking English professor, a poet, and are like beautifully, like it's the most beautiful thing I've ever read. So obviously you didn't write this. It's littered with M dashes. It's using words that you never would use. People can see your inauthentic AI 10 paragraph essay from a mile away. They skim it, they see 3 M dashes, they say, oh, that's AI. It was beautiful, whatever. No one cares. It's a red flag that you're just cutting corners. That's at least what I see.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a bad use of AI. A good use of AI is identifying what I'm good at. I'm good at communication. I love people. I'm great at building relationships. I'm great at making people feel motivated. I'm great at sales. I'm great at articulating thoughts. And you ask AI, I'm great at all these things. What do you think a good job would be for me? And it would take that and it would beast it out. Well, maybe you should try this. Maybe you should try that. Maybe you should try this. Oh, that's cool. Well, what if I'm also good at this? What if I'm also good at that? What if I'm really passionate about this too? Like, what do you think I should do? Well, maybe you should look at these 3 things. Then you go out and you search for companies that are looking for those positions. And once you find the company that have those positions, that you know that when you get in the job, it's not an if, it's not an and, it's not a but, it's a you're going to rock it. So you have confidence in that. It's right up your alley. You get into an interview and you don't have to like practice the interview. Like, oh, what would I say in regards to this? I'm the fish. You talk about water and swimming. I could do it with my eyes closed. You crush the interview. It's not even a matter of it because you're the right person for the job. But once you find that position, you have to get the interview. And I think a lot of people make a lot of mistakes in having to get the interview and they go about it wrong. They just hit that easy apply on LinkedIn. I know that recruiters will tell you it all goes in the same applicant tracking system and it's blah, 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 blah,
Yep.
but I'll tell you, cutting corners the easy way will always result in garbage in, garbage out. Like you have to take time to find what it is that you want. And then you have to take time to be creative and be unique about setting yourself apart of those 10,000 other people that apply for the same job. So the first piece of advice I would say is you have to leverage your network.
Yes.
If you find these positions and you see anybody that you're linked with, if you're in LinkedIn, or anybody that works there that you need to hit them up and leverage that relationship that you've built to get introduced to the recruiter or the hiring manager. That's the best thing in the whole world. The best way to be introduced to the pretty girl that you like is through a mutual friend. Because if you're just one of the 10,000 dudes that are going up and hitting on her at the bar, you're just another bum that's hitting on her at the bar. But if you're the person that gets introduced by the best friend or a mutual acquaintance, all of a sudden there's rapport there. It's different. It hits different. So leverage your network for the people that work in the companies that you have an opening that you see on LinkedIn, which goes back to the fact that those of you right now that may be listening to this, that you may think, oh, well, this could happen to me, but it's not happening to me now. It's absolutely crucial that you do not neglect your networking right where you are right now. People will remember your competencies, how good you were to the task and to them. They will remember how it felt like to work with you. You taking the time to talk to somebody on the subway, or actually engage with somebody at a conference, or actually have the, I would say, courage to compliment somebody on the shoes that they're wearing, or the cologne that they're wearing, or the dress that they're wearing. Having this ability to socialize with people and build relationships, just for the simple fact of building relationships and networking, is huge.
Yep.
I had a, so like I was at the gym with a couple of the buddies that also got laid off, and misery loves company, so we're in there, taking our frustrations out on the weights, which is going to come to another thing that I suggest that people do, progressing in other ways as opposed to the job. But I was talking to the person up front, and they're like, Solo, why are you so social? Like, he doesn't want to talk to you for 3 minutes about whatever you were talking to him about. I'm like, networking is important. It's not about today. It's about tomorrow or the next day, and just relationships in general. It's good to be good to people. But a week later, literally, today, I went up to that person. My buddy's passes have expired, but it's the last day that we could work out together, and a day pass is $15. I said, hey, can you do me a favor? It's the last day we're going to work out. Can you let them slide on that day pass and just work out this last time? Because it's the last time we're going to be able to, and I really would prefer not to pay the $15. No problem. Go on ahead. And just walked right past. That conversation, that talking to the person, that building a relationship maybe meant nothing in the moment, may be perceived as stupid and a waste of time to others looking in, but it was worth $15 today. And that's the same thing with your networking of the people and jobs.
Yep.
You might not have anything that you can get from that person when you're talking to them, and you shouldn't build relationships to get something from them in the first place. You should do it because it's the right thing to do. It's valuable to do it. But the relationships, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And it's not even who you know, but what they know. It's okay. So let me see if I conceptualize this. A lot of people know it's not what you know, it's who you know, right? We just talked about the relationships. But I deposit that it's not even who you know, it's what they know. The people that you know different things, or have different powers, or have different opportunities. And it's those things that are so powerful for you. Because if you're a good person, you should be able to use your knowledge, your leverage, your power to help people that you care about. And the people that are in your life that have power and opportunities and knowledge that you could benefit from will share that with you completely. And both of us will rise because of what we know and how we interact with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So my second piece of advice, after all the don'ts, is leverage your network. And don't neglect building it if you're not in a position right now where you need to leverage it.
And
Thoughts on that?
if you do need to leverage it and you've been neglecting it in years past, get building quick.
Yeah.
But it's not what I will say about this is start with those closest to you, your family, your closest friends. Understand that I'm going to just throw out a statistic that I'm making up, but 99% of the time, the job is not going to come from those in your immediate network, because if they had the job available, they would have already talked to you about it.
Exactly.
So start reaching out, checking on these folks, and as you are scouring the job boards, as Solo was saying, connect with someone at that company. You may not always know somebody at that company, and that's okay, because LinkedIn is phenomenal, where you can do a search and find people who do work at that company. And you may find some recruiters. Make those connections. Send an invite. Say, hey, find someone that has a similar position, or who you think may be on the team that you would be joining, and say, hey, what do you like about this company? Reach out and make a normal human introduction. Don't reach out and say, dude, I'm desperate. I've been looking for 6 months. I see this job. I was
Help!
phenomenal at it. I'm the best
Help!
person in the world at this. Hook me up. Because they're going to ignore it.
And or use tools. Like, I can almost guarantee you, ton of people have leveraged ChatGPT. I don't think I've talked to a regular human on LinkedIn in at least 2 years, or at least in a regular human post. It's all AI.
It's
So
a
I
lot
know
of it
people are
is.
paying that $20 for ChatGPT, but
Yep.
there's other tools out there. There's Zoom Info. Zoom Info is a tool that you could use to get information, contact information from people inside of companies. You want to know who the recruiting director is, the recruiting team under that? You can use a tool like Zoom Info to get those folks' names, and then you could go on LinkedIn and try to make human connections. Be tactical about it, right? Sales isn't a bad thing. Sales is a good thing.
Yeah.
It's how we've built our capitalistic society. The greatest nation that has ever been in existence, America, was built on, I like to say, cold calls, but it
Really
is what it
was.
is. I would also say that, to your point, it's not always possible. It's not always possible to leverage mom, dad, brother, whatever. It's not always possible to leverage oh, it's easy for you to say solo. It's not what you know, it's who you know, you know? It's like, oh, I'll just leverage the Harvard University alum meetings that you go to every Wednesday night because you went to Harvard. Not everyone has those opportunities and those relationships, right? Some people have neglected their networking.
Mhm.
But it's not impossible to stand out and be unique and build relationships. Yes, the best way to meet the pretty girl at the bar is to be introduced by a mutual acquaintance so you don't come off as a creeper. The next best way is to differentiate yourself from the other suitors at the bar to not come off as a creeper. Be different, be unique. I see all of these same type of messages, right? Like I get hit up all the time, people trying to like sell me things on LinkedIn. It's like, oh my God, I could see it a mile away,
All the
right?
time.
But I got hit up one time and it was a video. Someone said, hey, Solo, name is Jake. I know you get sold all the time. I just want to make a quick video, introduce myself. I promise you, I am absolutely trying to sell you, but it's something I think that you might like. I think that you could afford it. And I think that it would have a huge return on your investment and you could really leverage it to help yourself, probably, and a lot of people that you work with. So if you're interested, hit me back. If not, no worries. The only message I'll ever send. I'm like, damn, that was unique. It's a
Mhm.
video. They were honest. They were upfront. That was cool. Hit them back. Set up a meeting. Ultimately, it wasn't a good fit, but it got me in the door. And I think that more people should do that. Don't send no cover letter. People have microwave attention spans. You send me a cover letter on how great your competencies are on the job and all this other stuff. It's cool, right? But I'm not going to read it. I don't have time to read it. I have other things going on. I have 10,000 applicants to review if I'm a recruiter. I have hundreds of qualified individuals if I'm a hiring manager. But doing something unique, like making a video and tailoring it to that person and being authentic, being yourself, being real, so they could see it and you stand out would make a difference. So I think being unique and being creative and thinking of other things that you could do would really, really help your chances. Thoughts on that?
I agree wholeheartedly. As you're reaching out, like, yes, be yourself, be authentic. But people, so Tony talks about this a lot and how people are willing to help you, but first they want to understand how you can also help them.
Mm,
Because everybody's busy. And so people are willing to help, but you're more likely to get their attention if you've been sincere in the way you approach them and network into their circle, as Sol was just talking about. But then show what you can do to help them, right? The simple question of, hey, what do you love about the company? What are the biggest challenges you're facing in that industry? And then they may start talking about it. And if you engage properly, they'll start talking to you. And then that allows you to talk about how your skills could help and
mm.
offer advice and things. And that, Solo was spot on about talking about be memorable. They may not have a job right now, but if you're authentic in the way you're offering to help them with problems they have, when something does come along, who are they going to remember?
That's
That
true.
guy. That guy has the skill, or that girl, right?
Dude, that is so good. And that brings me back to, so I got into politics for a while, ran a lot of campaigns, campaign manager, phone bank manager, mayoral races, city council races, district attorney races, county commissioner races, even the sheriff. And you know how I got into it? I just asked how may I serve? I just volunteered.
Great question.
How can I help you? This is something I'm super interested in. I'm assuming you don't have some campaign manager position for an unvetted rookie that you don't know like me. So what can I do? How can I serve? They said, well, you could start with flyering. Okay, cool. And then I flyered. And I flyered better than any flyer could ever flyer. I was flyering my booty off. And it's like, you did a really great job. Thank you. And they saw excellence in the way that I did my work.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what can I do now? I want to keep helping. This is great. This is something I'm super interested in. Well, you can help canvas. Now you can go to door and talk to people. And I canvassed my booty off. I was canvassing better than any canvasser had ever canvassed. Because how you do anything is how you do everything. And people realize that. So then I moved from canvassing to making phone calls, to running a team of making phone calls, to running the whole phone bank, to actually being a campaign manager. And then I had my network established because people saw that I did good work. And before you know it, people were hitting me up, knocking on my door to be a campaign manager. And it started from how may I serve? So I really do think there's a lot that could be gained from just service and volunteering in industries or in things or for people that you want to get your foot in the door. That's how you network. You serve people. And then when you get an opportunity to serve, you get the opportunity to build a brand, to
Mm-hmm.
build a perception from decision makers that that person is a person of excellence. And if I can trust you with a little, I can trust you with a lot. And that's one of the, I would say that's a really good piece of advice, Jake, that you said on service. Cause it got me in the door.
That's a great example. I'm glad you shared that. Other tip,
Couple-
I'll go on then go ahead. The other tip is it's easier for people to ask for introductions, right? Ask someone for introductions rather than for a job
Mm,
because they're
oh,
going to see your open
100%.
work. They're going
So
to see
good.
your open to work banner. They're going to see your posts, like all that's going to come through. If you ask, especially for people you don't know as well that are in your network, because I'll admit, I've got like 1,000 connections on LinkedIn, and I don't say that to brag. I don't personally know more than probably a couple hundred of them.
I know 2 people, but I got 10,000 connections.
Yeah, exactly. And so for these folks that you've connected through whatever reason, asking them who in their network they could introduce you to that knows something about learning and development, or who knows
Mhm.
about sales, or who's looking for these sort of things. That is a great way to expand your network and connected to people who may actually be hiring or who may know
Yeah,
someone who's hiring. It's a
yeah,
great way to just expand the web without coming off as salesy or desperate or all these other things that we've been saying you shouldn't do.
yeah.
That's a really good way to just grow it and increase your opportunities to get noticed and to get networked with the person who is hired.
I love that. And also to that point with the person that you're asking for a favor, you want to ask favors to folks that you have a relationship built. And the best way to build a relationship is through consistency, right?
Mhm.
And it doesn't have to necessarily be your normal warm body face to face consistency. I call you, we talk. But it can be just engaging with their content. Like if you're on LinkedIn and you're trying to build a relationship with somebody, engage in their content, comment on their posts, give them your thoughts. They'll appreciate it. Everyone wants to see that their post gets more likes and thumbs up and comments. Like, let's just be honest. We're all vain. We all want to see, oh, that's the most likes I've ever got. That's cool. And you check it every 5 minutes now. It's
Mhm.
That's part of the algorithm. That's why it gets us stuck. That's why social media is so popular in the first place. So leverage that to build a relationship with your network. Engage in their posts. So just to kind of like summarize where we're at from here, there's a lot of don'ts. Don't start your journey until you grieve. When you are at a point where you're now no longer emotionally compromised and virtue signaling or looking for sympathy points online, really be tactical in asking yourself, what are you great at? Ask those around you what you're great at. See if you could find a vector where it intersects with what you're passionate about and you like to do. It's even better. And then go out and find positions that match that by using AI. I'm great at all these things. What are some positions that could be these things?
Mhm.
And then go after jobs that are like that. But don't go after the job, go after the people that are around the job, the decision makers adjacent to the job, and build relationships. Ask for introductions and then ask for an opportunity. Can I apply? And then when you get into the interview, we could go into a whole thing. Maybe we do that next time. We talk about
Yeah, we do
interview.
that next time.
Let's do that.
Because before you get into the interview, there's one thing I have to warn people about. Patience sucks.
Yes.
For me, I went through probably 3 or 4 just kind of in-betweener jobs because you can typically find jobs in sales and things that'll just get you by. And, there's the things that aren't going to actually be what you're truly looking for that you may just need a holdover. It may just get you by until the one really pops. But patience sucks. And it took a year for me to find the job I'm currently in that, you know, love the people I work with. And I've learned a ton about myself, and I've developed a whole ton of new skills and knowledge and other things through it. It's been a wonderful opportunity, and I'm extremely grateful that I still have it. It took a year, and it is hard to wait a year for the thing that's going to feel really good.
But everything worth anything takes time, right? There's a reason why they give master chefs 2 hours to make their dish, and your Hungry Man meal takes 2 minutes in the microwave, but they taste a lot different.
They taste very
Right?
different.
They taste very different. Anything worth anything takes time. That said, once you've found it, once you've gone through all that process, be unique in your ask for the interview. Make a video. Be yourself. Do something. Draw a picture. Write a haiku. Do something that makes you stand out. Like, don't just send someone your resume. You know what I mean? Like, do something that just makes you stand out so they remember you and you get the interview. And we'll talk about your interviews.
Yeah, we'll
But I
talk
also
about
want to
this.
talk about your sense of self-worth, to your point, in your sanity. A couple of more do's. Continue your routines. A lot of the times, the reason why the grief, the depression, and all of it hits so much harder is because you not only lose the job, but you lose like your life. You lose your routines. I get up, I go to the bathroom, I take a shower, I brush my teeth, I iron my clothes, I put my clothes on, I commute to work, I'm in the office. Well, now that you don't got to go to the office anymore, you don't have to necessarily wake up at that same time. You don't have to take a shower. You don't have to brush your teeth. You probably still have to go to the bathroom. I mean, if you're in the bed dookie on yourself, we need to talk, okay? Like, hey, we'll pick you up. If you're that low, we need to talk. Hit your boy Solo up. We'll pick you up. We'll get you across that. But you got to maintain your routines. Get up, take a shower, brush your teeth, put on
Yep.
clothes, and dress up. Don't just put your jammies on and sit in front of the TV all day. If you're used to dressing business casual, dress up even more. Put a tie on. You're not going to be sitting in front of the TV with slacks and a tie on. You're going to be, man, I feel like I need to do something and go somewhere. And you never know who you're going to meet at the grocery store. You're dressed to impress. You could talk to anybody. It's like, oh my gosh, that's President Obama. You guys have seen that. Have you seen that that picture of Obama sitting on the train and the dude's passed out right next to him? And it's like, you never know when you're going to miss an opportunity. Dude's passed out drunk and president's standing right there. He could have talked to the president. He could have networked with him. Now all of a sudden they're in his inner circle. You never know who you're going to run into. So maintain your routines, dress up, dress for the job that you want. And don't fall into this, my whole life fell apart because one piece of it fell apart. Maintain your relationships, maintain your health and your fitness goals, exercise, progress in your fat loss journey or your muscle building journey. Write the book that you've been wanting to write and progress in that piece. Build the relationships with your mom, your dad, your brother, your cousins, your whomever to build that piece of your sphere out. Read the books that you may not have had time for and progress your knowledge. Pray to the Lord and read the Bible that you've been putting off for however long, or the Quran or the Bhagavad Gita or whatever it is to progress in the spiritual realm. There's other things that you can progress in and maintain consistency in and grow in other than your occupation. It's just one bucket, but so many people put so much into that bucket.
Yep.
So what are those things that you should also continue to pour into? Because I think that depression, systemic depression, chronic depression, because there's always There's always, targeted depression. There's always acute depression. You're
We'll
going to go
see.
through depression by losing your job. But chronic depression, systemic depression, life depression that leads to like taking your life, making permanent decisions for temporary type of places, I think that is directly correlated to one's true understanding of their shrinking or their growing. If you're shrinking, and it happens a lot with addictions, right? I'm drinking, so I don't nourish my relationship, so that's shrinking. My job, I'm getting in trouble, so that's shrinking. My health, my liver's getting jacked up, so that's shrinking. My education and my brain is getting smaller because the alcohol's jacking me up, that's shrinking. So then they have this idea that their whole life is shrinking and they could truly track it shrinking into oblivion, so might as well just end it now, as opposed to growth. I'm pouring into my relationships and they're growing. I'm pouring into my education. I read this book and I learned something and it's growing. I poured into my health and my fitness and I'm a little bit stronger on the bench press this week. It's growing. I poured into my spirituality and I feel like I could hear the shepherd's voice and the Lord's voice just a little bit more and I'm growing. I'm a little bit more obedient. I'm growing. You can't be growing and feel depressed. So maintain your routines. Continue pouring in those buckets that really matter because your life is holistic. It's not just your job. And I think that if you do that, you get to avoid some of the existential crises that we all experience when we lose our sense of identity by losing the job. It's not your fault. And a lot of the times, it's not being done to you, it's being done for you. But going through the storm isn't supposed to be comfortable. You're going to get wet and you're going to get thrashed around. You might slip on the deck and bang your head and start bleeding and start crying. But there's purpose in the pain. There's the other side of the storm. And that person that you become on the other side of the storm, if you weather it right, is a faster, stronger, better version than the you that went through it in the first place. And that better, faster, stronger, wiser, sharper you is the you that is required to accomplish the big dreams that you have in your heart. So don't look at the storm and curse it. Look at the storm and bless it. And know that it's going to suck and know that you're not going to like it and know that you're going to be in denial and anger and you're going to go through the bargaining piece and the depression piece. But know that finally you're going to get to acceptance and know that one day you will get a job and know that one day things are going to work out and know that one day you're going to be looking back and say, that was the best thing that ever happened to me. But also know that it's not going to feel like it.
Not in the
It's going
moment.
to feel crappy. It's going to feel rough. And that's okay. It's just a part of the process. So when you're feeling crappy and when you're feeling down and when you wake up one morning and it seems like a legion of negative voices are all screaming their unanimous permission in your head that your life sucks and you ain't going nowhere and you ain't never going to find a job and you're going to lose your house and you ain't have no purpose, you have to leverage the people that love you to pick you up. You're not supposed to be in this life alone. You're supposed to be in community. So reach out to your sister, your brother, your best friend, your cousin, your mentor, whomever loves you and cares about you, and tell them that you're going through it. Those are the people that you should be telling, I've applied to 1,000 jobs and I'm so frustrated and I don't know what to do. Not the community on LinkedIn that no one cares. These people don't care about you. Half of them don't care and the other half are glad that it's not them. Reach out to the people that love you when you're down. Reach out to the people that care about you when you're going through it, and they will pick you up. And when you're
Yes.
up, build specifically, targeted, and yourself, because you have more to build than just a job.
Amen.
So that's my
It's a,
story, and I'm sticking to it, Jake.
it's
That's
a great
my advice.
story. Friends, love that. Love that. Those closing comments from Solo. Your self-worth is independent of life circumstance. There's so much good. There's so much value that you have to offer this world. There's so many lives that you're going to be able to touch and influence in a positive way. Most of them, you won't even know the level of impact that you had on those people. But right now, we know you're hurting. We see you. We've been there. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. Just we talked about, Bilbo Baggins going through Mirkwood Forest when we were talking about discouragement a few weeks ago. Same thing. You're going to take steps. You know the steps that you need to take. We shared what will hopefully help you. We know that, we're speaking from experience with everything that we shared today, and it works. You have to go through it. You have to put your pants on one leg at a time, just like everybody else, and do the simple things. No, for the lucky ones, something's going to pop super quick. But the reality is that for most of you, it's going to take time. And patience is hard when you're in the midst of a challenge. But
You're
it
going to go
will
through
get
it.
better, and you'll go through it, and you'll be, as Solo was saying, you're going to be a stronger person at the other side. So we love you. And for everybody who hears this, post it and share it. There are thousands of people that need to hear
Yeah.
this. This is one that we really rely on all of you. Subscribe, follow, do all the things, but post this to your channels. Please share it with everybody you know, so that this can reach the population and be a light and a help for those that are going through hard times right now.
And to your point, Jake, you're going to go through it, but you don't have to go through it alone.
Yes, 100%.
Frodo had his Sam. So you got to find your Sam to go on that journey with you. And they're out there. And if you don't have the Sam, if you don't have somebody, because some folks aren't fortunate to have someone to go through this, be vulnerable and post it here. We'll find you a Sam. There's people that care out there. There's good folks. I know I said the whole sympathy stuff on LinkedIn doesn't work, and that's true. But if you're going through it and you need to get out of this place of depression or anxiety or denial or anger, we got you. Like, we have a community that's got you. And for those of you who are not in that place, that are in a high place listening to this, because we have an audience of folks that are really trying to be their best and sharpen their saw, and their saws are pretty sharp. For each one, reach one and teach one. Pick somebody up that may be down in the muck now and help them out. Because what are we here for except to help another person? Like, that's what we're here for. We're not only here to benefit ourselves. So each one, reach one, teach one, pick someone up. Find your bafar, your best friend at work. Find your best friend on Iron Sharpens Iron. Let's build a network here. Share it, subscribe, keep listening. We love you all, and good luck.
Yep. Love you all. We'll catch you next time.